When you go on a cruise, there are about 9 important documents that you need to consider taking with you on that cruise. We have put this video together to serve sort of as a final checklist to make sure you're prepared for your next cruise. We're going to give you all the details coming up. Okay, so final checklist for your next cruise, making sure you have those important documents with you. But if you're new to our channel, my name is Jason, and here on the Travel Scouts, Kelly and I, we give you the latest cruise news, we give you tips, tours, we give you money-saving techniques. So if you're into cruising or want to stay up to date, please consider subscribing. Also, if you don't mind, give this video a like. Okay, here is our current situation. Kelly and I, we are about to go on a cruise. We are so excited. We are going on the Carnival Horizon out of Miami, Florida this weekend. And in fact, right now, it is Friday. We sail on Sunday, so we are within that 48-hour window. Right behind the camera here, I have my suitcase. I am getting packed. I've got my little checklist here to make sure everything's getting going. I thought, hey, we're going to share this final checklist with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you those important travel documents. Now, they fall into 4 categories. There's 9 total documents that most need to bring or you need to consider bringing. So we're going to go through these one by one. Okay, the first category I want to talk to you about is what I'm going to call travel documents. And in the travel documents category, there are 3 different items that you need to consider bringing. The first has to do with your citizenship documents, and you have a choice to bring one of 2 items. One item that you could bring would be your passport. So that's an option that many people choose to take. Kelly and I, we definitely highly recommend taking passports. But if you don't have a passport, you do have another option as an American citizen, and that would be to take your birth certificate. Now, Kelly and I, our passports, they have expired. We've got to send those bad boys off to get them renewed when we get back from this next cruise. So we're going to be taking our birth certificates with us this time. That brings us to the second item that falls in the travel documents category, and that is bringing a state-issued ID. Now, if you are bringing your birth certificates, you are required to bring a state-issued ID as well. If you're bringing a passport, you don't have to because it already has that photo on the inside. However, we think it's something you should really consider bringing anyway. You just never know when you might need that for some other reason in order to drive. If you end up stuck at a destination port of call for some reason, you're going to get a rental car. You just never know. So we personally like to have that with us and would recommend that to you. But if you're bringing a passport, you don't necessarily have to have that state-issued ID. The third item that falls in that travel documents category would be whatever documentation is required to get you to the cruise terminal to begin your cruise. So obviously, if you are driving yourself to the port, there's nothing that falls in that category. But if you're taking a flight, if you're taking a bus, if you're taking a train, any kind of boarding pass or other document that helps get you on that transportation to the port, make sure you have that with you. Okay, let's talk about the next category of documents you need to go on that cruise, and it's what I would call cruise documents. Now, what I'm talking about when I talk about cruise documents is I'm talking about the items that you need to get situated at the cruise terminal to begin your cruise or to get processed through the cruise terminal there at your cruise. And there's 3 different items that fall in this category. The first item I want to mention that falls in this category would be parking documentation. Now, this isn't going to apply if you're arriving by plane, by train, by bus, anything like that. But if you are driving to the port, if you have prepaid for parking in any way, wherever that may be, it's really a good idea to print off something showing that you have already prepaid for that parking. So when you arrive at that parking location, that you have that to present if there's any kind of questions at all. The next item that falls in the cruise documents category would be your luggage tags. After you get parked or after you get situated, you arrive there by shuttle or whatever it may be to the cruise terminal, one of the very first things you're going to do is you're going to pass off your luggage. So you want to already make sure you have printed those luggage tags from your cruise line that you have folded those, put those in your luggage tag holders, or attach them by tape there to the handles on your luggage, because when you pass that luggage off, you want to make sure all that's attached so your luggage arrives at your stateroom properly. A little self-confession time. I go a little crazy when it comes to printing off the luggage tags. Here, I've got a load of these that I've got on here, a lot more than I ever need. I don't have that much luggage, but I always want to make sure if one gets ripped off or something, I always have extra. It's a real problem, but it's something I always do. And then the third item that falls in the cruise documents category is that boarding pass to get you on that cruise. Once you have parked, once you have handed off that luggage, you'll just want to proceed on into that cruise terminal with your travel documents and the documents I want to discuss in a minute. And you'll be needing that boarding pass multiple times. You'll pass that through. Before you know it, you'll be on the ship. And yes, I go a little excessive and print extra of those too. Now, the next category of important documents that you want to make sure you take with you on your cruise is what I'm going to refer to as COVID documents. Now, since most cruisers right now are required to be vaccinated, I'm going to talk about it in that light first. So there's two items that you want to take with you. The first of those items is your vaccination card. So Kelly and I, we definitely want to take our original vaccination cards. And one thing I just want to throw out there as an extra sort of power tip is we've got these little protector cases that we've got. And these have been amazing. They have kept these things. They do look like brand new, and we have traveled a lot. I'm going to put a link down in the description for those. It was like $8.99. You get a pack of 5 of these, and they truly are marvelous at keeping those laminated and in good condition. Now, if you don't want to take your original vaccination cards, different cruise lines have some different things going with that. Like there's some databases you can have it entered into, that sort of thing. So if you don't want to take your originals, check with your cruise line and make sure you know what your other options are for that. The second important document you want to take with you that falls in the COVID category, even if you're vaccinated, is that proof of a negative COVID test. Now, that's required to be done within a 2-day window prior to your cruise. Currently, that is the requirement. So look, there's a few different options for that. Let me share with you what Kelly and I did for this specific cruise this weekend. We knew the cruise was coming up, so we went online and scheduled that test with CVS Pharmacy for the rapid antigen test. Today, we fell in that 2-day window. So both of us this morning, we went by, we got that rapid antigen test. We had our results within 15 minutes. Within about an hour, we received a text and an email where we could get the PDF document that I just showed here, showing that we had a negative test. So that was a very simple way to do that. We scheduled that at the 2-day mark. Now, as a backup, because we like to take extra precaution and we don't want to miss our cruise, we did go online through the cruise link and we ordered the at-home test through Optum, and those arrived. So our plan was, if we didn't get the results back prior to tomorrow at that 1-day window, we were going to go ahead and proceed with that at-home test to make sure we had the results prior to our cruise. And so currently we had the 2-pack. It was $69.99 through Optum. So that's a couple options, but I gotta say the CVS option was super simple, a good first option. We will also have a video coming up showing the whole process with the at-home test. That's a very simple option too. The fourth category of documents that you want to make sure you take with you is what I'm calling financial documents. Now, these may not actually be documents of sorts, but they sort of are, and they just definitely are important things you want to make sure you take with you. And what I'm getting at with the financial documents is this. You want to make sure that you take your credit card, and I also recommend taking some cash with you as well. Look, a credit card is very important to have. You never know when an emergency is going to come up at a port of call, or if you're going to use it shopping or some other things. So it's just really a good idea to have that with you. And the cash is important to have because you may want to give some tips. For example, those that are handling your luggage, maybe it's a shuttle driver, something like that. So it's always good to have a little cash with you when you're cruising as well. Now, one power tip regarding all of these documents that really should be part of that final checklist and make sure you're bringing what you need for the cruise would be this. Don't just bring the hard copies. It is a really good idea if you can have access to a digital copy as well, whether that's taking a picture of it with your phone or storing a PDF copy on your phone, emailing it to yourself, whatever it may be. But you never know when a bag could get lost, something like that. So having that digital backup is really important to have. All right, if you've got any value out of this at all, would really appreciate it if you give this video a like. It's free to you. It really encourages us and it really does help the channel. Also, if you have a cruise coming up anytime soon, be sure you subscribe and you hit the bell. We will keep you up to date, and we've got loads of good information, tips, and also some things that can really save you a lot of money that's coming up. So subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it, and we'll catch you in the next video.